for Weather Geeks time. It's the Wednesday evening edition. We've got a lot to talk about. As promised, we're going to talk a lot about the setup for a couple of windy, unsettled days across the valley as we go through Thursday and Friday. Here's our storm system at about 7:30 this evening. Really wound up here across parts of the Midwest. Strong low pressure. This low pressure zone, let's see if I can get a reading, down to 990 millibars and deepening across Iowa. And cold front extends out to the east. Still a threat for severe weather in parts of Illinois this evening. Chicago's under a severe thunderstorm watch, tornado watch in western Illinois. And in Omaha, Nebraska, where they had thunderstorms earlier, here comes the wet, wind-driven snow. So this is nothing atypical for the fall season. In November in particular, we can see these types of really wound-up mid-latitude cyclones. Our weather today turned out pretty nice. We had some sunshine this afternoon. But the clouds will roll in overnight. Let me quickly bring up the satellite picture for you here, showing the clouds increasing as we speak, and these will eventually start to produce some wet weather. So that's the current situation. Now let's take a look at the future. We'll look at the high-resolution rapid refresh model here, and I'm going to fast forward a few hours, and I also want to throw up the surface analysis, the pressure analysis here, show you just how wound up this system will continue to be. All right, here's the simulated radar a few hours from after I recorded this, and I'll skip ahead to the middle of the night then. Here's midnight. We're still dry, but as our low continues moving through Minnesota and Iowa, showers out into Indiana, parts of western Ohio as well, and there could be some isolated thunder in with this. Not looking at a lot of thunder, I think, across Ohio overnight, but there could be a few rumbles. By 2 in the morning, we are starting to see maybe some showers pushing in from the west by a more sane hour, say 6 a.m., showers around the area. And if you're an early riser, if you're going to be watching Jess tomorrow morning on WFMJ today, around 5, 6 in the morning, there's going to be some gusty showers around with an outside chance of some thunder. And these showers can certainly bring down some of the strong wind energy that is upstairs in the atmosphere. Look at this low by tomorrow morning over Milwaukee, continuing to deepen upstairs in the atmosphere. As far as the wind, up at 5,000 feet. Tomorrow at this time, we've got winds at about 60 miles per hour, 5,000 feet above our heads. Any of these showers in the morning could bring down some of that wind energy. I think that as we get into the midday and the afternoon tomorrow, more efficient transfer of energy from upstairs down to the surface will occur, and that means more and more of that wind energy can get pulled down even with no showers around. So here's those 5,000-foot winds at 8 in the morning, up to about 60 miles per hour. And by midday tomorrow, here's at noon, kind of the same idea. Up at 5,000 feet, the wind howling at 60, 65 miles per hour, and we will be able to pull some of that down. So that's why a wind advisory is in effect for our region. I think we can see some gusts of 40, 45, maybe even 50 miles per hour during the course of the day tomorrow. Now, as far as rain, I think the most numerous showers are actually before daybreak. Once we get into the daylight hours, sure, there's going to be some showers around, and there could be another band of gusty showers here at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and noon. But they'll be spotty, and there'll be some breaks. We'll get into the afternoon tomorrow. It's not going to rain much. It's just going to be a windy afternoon. Here's a look at the surface winds on the NAM model, showing sustained winds in the 20s locally, sustained winds perhaps up to 30 to 35 or so out in western Ohio, and some gusts in western Ohio could touch 50, 55 miles per hour. That's why there's a high wind warning out in northwest Ohio. So, again, tomorrow, the rain is not as big of a deal as the wind. Rainfall amounts pretty modest on our modeling here, generally kind of clustered, maybe around 1/4 of an inch through Friday. So, I think most of this will come on Thursday. There's not going to be much during the day Friday. Let's take a look at Friday, because we do have some high school football action across northern Ohio and into western PA on Friday. And this is going to be a day that's going to be full of wind again. Notice the isobars are packed close together here, up at 5,000 feet. We still have howling winds down at the surface. Still a lot of dark blues on here, which means sustained winds 20, 25 miles per hour at times on Friday. But again, as far as the rain goes, we're going to wait on a second front, a secondary front, if you will, to drop in from the north. And this front, by mid-afternoon, will be kind of right through here. And it's going to start sparking some rain showers in northeast Ohio, northwest PA, towards sunset on Friday. And for high school football Friday evening, look at this. The NAM actually tries to bring some wet snowflakes in. I think that's a little far-fetched, but I'll tell you, Friday evening there could be some grapple, some soft hail, perhaps mixed in with the rain showers. It's just going to be nasty outside Friday evening. Unfortunately, not good for anyone who's taking in a playoff game Friday evening. There's going to be rain showers around, maybe some soft hail or grapple, maybe a wet snowflake, and certainly some very, very chilly winds as well. We're going to keep the threat for some flurries into Saturday morning. I think by Saturday afternoon we're going to start to see the sun as that zone of high pressure down over the southeast of the Tennessee Valley starts to exert its influence over our weather. And Sunday, we're back to great weather. We're back in the mid-50s with sunshine on Sunday. Next weather maker, middle of next week. Here is next Tuesday morning. Pretty big looking system out here across the middle of the country. This could be another round of severe weather for the Mississippi Valley around the middle of next week. Look at this thing getting all wound up on Tuesday, impacting us probably a week from today on Wednesday, with more snow in the plains, possible severe weather for the Midwest, and maybe the lower Ohio River Valley middle of next week. All right, so as far as the longer range goes, let's look upstairs at 18,000 feet in the atmosphere, show you generally the flow of air, pick out ridges and troughs here looking at this view. Just as a reminder, if you're a little new to this weather geek stuff, troughs usually associated with unsettled weather, chilly air masses, ridges associated usually with calm weather and warmer than average air masses. Those troughs are indicated by not only the dips in the black bars here, but also the blue and purple colors. The oranges and reds indicate the ridges. So here's our deep trough moving through late this week with the chilly weather, but then a nice ridge pops back up next week. This looks real nice. I mean, we could touch 60 before the middle of the week is through, 10 degrees above average. That midweek system out across the plain states kind of loses its punch as it heads into that ridge over the east coast, and you'll notice in the longer range a distinct lack of troughiness across the Great Lakes and the Northeast. This is Halloween, Thanksgiving week. General pattern here, not featuring any sort of sign of any sort of big dip in the Great Lakes and Northeast. As I've been preaching this week, can there be a chilly day occasionally? Absolutely, but sustained cold doesn't look likely through Thanksgiving. Just for the heck of it, here's Thanksgiving Day. You look at this and there's not much really to write home about. Perhaps a little bit of a dip through here, suggesting it might be a little chilly, but don't see many signs of any sort of sustained cold like we had last November. Last November, of course, was cold. Then December was warm, and then the rest of the winter was pretty awful. All right, so that is tonight's weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks as always for watching, everyone. Look forward to seeing you tonight. Join Derek and Leslie and I on 21 News at 11. Have a great night.